Welcome back to the agency. This is Detective Chase Clay closing the subcase of Outlast Whistleblower. So, what I'm gonna do, this is basically a final recap, summary, final thoughts, kind of, you know, end to climax, whatever you want to call it, to the whole Outlast Whistleblower DLC that we have been playing through for the past couple days. So, what I'll do is I'll start with the recap, and then anything I missed from that, it'll probably be covered by the investigation board. As you can see, I've added some additions to it, some removals to it, things have changed around it, and then I guess just a general wrap up at the end. So, in the last final episode, it was essentially split between two halves. The first half was we escaped the groom, Eddie Gluskin. I don't want to call him Gluskin, man, because any shred of Eddie Gluskin, you know, any human part of him, I feel like went away as soon as they started putting the chemicals inside him, the therapy, this treatment, the experiments going on, the morphogenic engine. I feel like if he ever had a past life to this, it would have just been overwritten by this groom personality or figure that completely took over. So we managed to escape the groom, and we were about to go into the male ward when he pulled us back in to that central room, big room area that had all the bodies strung up in the ceiling, and he was about to make us an addition to that display. And he literally had a rope tied around us, was pulling us up, and that was about to be the end of Waylon. But luckily, through Waylon's never-ending spirit, he made himself a bit difficult to easily string up. He started moving around using his body weight to shift the rope and the balance, while the groom was on the other end trying to pull the rope to hang Waylon. And with the force of Waylon moving around and the groom pulling the rope, the tension, is it called the tension point? The top of the rope, where it was affixed to the ceiling, that was receiving both ends of that weight, and it caused the ceiling to crack. And through more of what was happening, the moving, the squirming, Waylon ended up falling down to the floor, and the groom got shot up straight into the air. And I think when the ceiling broke, I'm not sure if this was already there or if it was when the ceiling broke, but there was a metal pole or rebar. It was a shard of metal or iron pointing out, and the groom got impaled by that straight through his chest, stomach area. And so, as you can see on the board, that was the end of Gluskin, or the groom. I was just reading the note there. That was the end of the groom. Gluskin probably died a long time ago. Or at least at the beginning of Whistleblower, when we saw him be forced into the morphogenic engine, the little circular pod thing, but going off a bit of a tangent. That was the end of the groom. And then after doing that, the other half of it was just essentially taking our last leg or limb of the journey past Mount Massive Asylum, or through Mount Massive Asylum. And on the way, we saw a bunch of events culminating that coincided with the main events that happened towards the end of Outlast, the original game. So the first thing we saw when we got out was the church burning, and that was an indication of Father Martin crucifying himself, burning himself on the cross, and that fire, it spread on the church area, and who knows, it may spread across all of Mount Massive, burning it down. It may get washed down and controlled. I don't know what will happen. But that was that. And as we were walking ahead, it was a really nice setting, but also, what's the word? I want to say melancholic, but because we saw the sunlight, we saw the freedom that was in front of us, but then we also saw the church burning, so it was like hope and destruction at the same time. Carrying on walking through, we saw Traeger's body. I forgot his first name. Ricard? Traeger, you know, the creepy doctor dude who we made Traeger juice out of when we were miles through the elevator. But we saw his body on the floor. Surrounding him were a bunch of SWAT members. They were just discussing the situation. So the timing of this was a bit weird. It was a little bit strange. I was not fully understanding of where we exactly were. But I was thinking, because Waylon didn't say anything to the SWAT members. He was hiding behind the door and he didn't say anything. And I was thinking, like, say something, get out, right? But then I heard an order from the members talking to each other through the radio. And they were essentially saying they had a kill on sight order, which was, I guess, anyone they see, it just instantly kill, because the horrors within Mount Massive, you can't take the chance, or they thought they couldn't take the chance of giving someone even 1 or 2 seconds, because who knows what they could do with that, especially with the entities we saw in Mount Massive through Outlast, Whistleblower, and Outlast. So after doing that, we managed to escape through all of them. We also heard on the radio chatter of an entity, an unknown entity, creating havoc. Now in retrospect it makes sense now, but at the time I still didn't understand because I was a bit iffy on the timing. I was thinking, unknown entity, is that the Walrider? Is that Miles Walrider? Because I'm thinking about it now. The order of events went as this. So Miles killed Traeger first, or the elevator killed Traeger first, and Miles was there to experience that, to see it. And then afterwards he went to Father Martin, who then crucified himself, burned himself on the cross, or mixture of both. And he said to Miles, hey, you're free, you can go. And that's when Miles actually went down to the sub-level of Mount Massive, went through the labs, ended Billy's life, found out the truth through Vernica, and ultimately became WalriderMiles. So now that I think about it, is that... So they burned Father Martin on the cross, but it would have took a little while for that fire to spread. Assuming, you know, the material isn't all made out of super flammable stuff. It would have taken a reasonable amount of time for the fire to catch. So we can assume that when Waylon first saw the church on fire, Miles had already gone down into the sub-levels. And when we heard the unknown entity, that was probably after when the SWAT tried to shoot Miles down, and then the screen faded to black, and then you heard, oh, what the hell is that? Death sounds, shooting sounds, Wall Rider sounds. So, assumedly, that entity, when they were saying unknown entity, that was after Miles had wiped the floor with everyone trying to shoot him right at the end of the original Outlast. And so now the events are pretty much in time now. Miles has become WalriderMiles, and Waylon's just trying to get the hell out. But on his way out, we got to the exit and we saw no one else other than Blair, and as you can probably already see through the investigation board, his fate. He was sitting on the exit of Mount Massive Asylum, and he was saying, please help me, we can make an arrangement, we can make a deal. I don't know what Waylon was thinking, what he might have done, but I definitely would not have trusted Blair after all the shit, all the crap that he did to everyone, including Waylon, forcefully submitting him into being an inmate of Mount Massive. But whatever Waylon was going to do, Blair suddenly got up, so it was a ruse, and he attacked Waylon with a knife, stabbed him in the chest, in the stomach chest, I don't know. There's a recurring theme with the stomach chest, but he stabbed him in the stomach and chest, and Blair was honestly about to finish Waylon. He really was. Waylon was on the floor, Blair had the advantage, but no one else other than the Walrider, or I guess Miles Walrider, at this point, came along, lifted Blair up into the air. There was just a smile on my face, because I was like, yes, he saved us. Is that Miles saving us, or is that the Walrider's instinct to kill saving us? But whatever happened, he seemed to have left Waylon, picked up Blair into the air, completely shredded him apart, and I was like, yeah, that's fantastic. But that aside, Blair was eliminated. As we were walking out of the asylum, Waylon got to Miles's car, the Jeep-looking, the mini Jeep-looking thing, and as he got to his car, pulled up the camera and saw, as the picture there is now, WalriderMiles. It wasn't, if you look on the far left, it wasn't the same gassy-looking skeleton, wraith, spectre entity. It was more humanoid and human-like, so 100%, well, yeah, 100% confirmed it was WalriderMiles. But luckily, the swarm started to come towards Waylon, so I wasn't sure whether that was, again, was it Miles warning Waylon to just leave and get out of this place, or was it Walrider coming to kill him? I still don't know the split between who has the better control of this WalriderMiles entity. But Waylon got away, and then it skipped to a scene where there was this new figure. Like, if you look under Waylon and Lisa and their sons, I couldn't get a good look at him. Like, I tried looking at different angles on my monitor, you know, because sometimes the lighting, the backlighting can illuminate the picture more, but I really couldn't find a way to see his face properly, so for now it's just this unknown dude. And the way he was talking, he was saying stuff like that he helped cover Waylon's tracks, and when he was mentioning Murkoff, he said, "our enemies." So obviously he's on the side of Waylon for uncovering Murkoff's truth. I'm not sure if he's a part of some kind of, like, vigilante, how do I call it, freedom fighter group, you know, like a self-made group against Murkoff fighting for the truth, or is he a part of an actual corporation that really is maybe like a legal or law enforcement corporation, or a self-imposed private legal or law enforcement corporation. But it seemed that he had some personal enmity against Murkoff, so he was helping Waylon do that. And in the end, Waylon uploaded the footage onto the website. Was called Viral Leaks, I think, and that hopefully will put a massive dent on Murkoff, because the mysterious figure, he said, well, once you upload this, your life is essentially gone. Everyone you loved or are close to, you're all going to be in danger, and you may never rest easy for the rest of your lives, which I hope they do, because damn, everyone's had a rough time here. So that was essentially the story. And if anything I missed, like, Groom died. We know that Father Martin Walker obviously died because it coincides with the event of the main game. Billy died, so did Blair. But I'm not sure about what happened to the rest of the variants. Also, I'm not sure what happened to the twins, and I'm not sure what happened to the cannibal, because I genuinely thought the cannibal was going to be a prominent antagonist, but he only appeared in the first quarter or the first half. And I think the last time we saw him was when he was about to cook us in the cremator thing, but something stopped him, whether it was just thinking that Waylon would have tasted nicer with a bit of charring. But the way he looked around, like, as if someone was controlling him, or he realized something. I don't know what the reason for that was, but I guess he just gave up and we never saw him since. So I don't know what happens to the rest of the variants and the super variants in Mount Massive. Maybe the fire spreads from the church and everyone gets burned down. Maybe they escape and just live secluded. Maybe they rehabilitate somehow, which I find very, very unlikely because of the messed up shit that happened to them. And we know that the morphogenic, it was covered in the previous investigation board for Outlast, but we know that the morphogenic engine was shut down. Not sure if it was destroyed because I didn't see any incredible explosions or anything, but that may just be my mind seeking thrill and adventure. But I have no idea for the rest of that. And really, except for that, I'm just looking back at my notes. I think that was pretty much it. Like, what I would like to know, I'm sure this is because the game came out. This came out, like, what? The original game came out almost 10 years ago, so Whistleblower would have been like 9 to 10 years. So assumedly there's going to be some online information, maybe some comics or content or articles on what happened covering the story of Miles or Waylon, but I would like to know what happened to WalriderMiles. Is he just this nanomachine swarm entity that just flies around where he wants? Is Miles controlling any piece of it? Will he just attack Murkoff with his newfound powers? Will the Walrider take over and just become a massive killing machine? I don't know. Will Waylon and his wife and sons be well, or what happens to them in the end? Do they find safety, or do they find torture and death? I don't know what happens to any of these. And also, who's this mysterious, bald dude on the right side, who's apparently a friend of someone like Waylon, who is an enemy of Murkoff? And yeah, it'd be interesting to know. So that was essentially the end of the recap. Now, what happens next is, I know the Outlast Trials is the third. Okay, Outlast 2 is released after Outlast. Outlast Trials was released recently. I don't think they have any connection to each other in terms of the protagonists and in terms of the story, except for the central connecting piece being Murkoff. So I'm not sure if we would get any answers from those, but regardless, I feel like it would be a wise step to not investigate the Outlast 2 or Outlast Trials cases yet. Pardon me. Because I feel like it would be a bit too much. It would be a bit of a burnout just doing Outlast. It made sense with Whistleblower because it was sort of a further continuation of the main Outlast game, and it's DLC, so it made complete sense. So for the next couple of days, I'm going to be releasing shorts/clips of what I thought were good moments, interesting moments, maybe funny moments of Whistleblower. And then on Monday, as per usual, we'll start our next case, which I'm not sure what that is yet. I'll have a look through what I have access to, because I have a few previously acquired things. And I guess we'll just cross that bridge when we get there. Obviously, if you guys have any recommendations, I guess, any cases that you want to hand over to me, you know, give me them. Let's see what's up. But I think I have a light idea of what I may delve into. And yeah, as I say at the start and the end of every case, thank you for doing your liking if you enjoyed the video, obviously. Thanks for watching the entire things, commenting on them. You know, never be afraid to comment on your thoughts, any connecting things that you may think of, any theories. Try to keep spoilers to a minimum, because there may be people who haven't experienced these things yet and they want to not be spoiled about it. But if you're wanting to experience something for the first time, you should probably avoid the comment section, because sometimes there is the odd occasion where someone does post something spoilery, intentionally or unintentionally. Sometimes these things do get out, so just be wary of that. And obviously, if you haven't already, subscribe to become a member of the agency, a junior detective if you will, and join the Discord as well, because that's the best place for updates and announcements. I'll probably share on there what the next case is, maybe a day on the day or a day or two earlier of what's to come. And generally a good place to chat and hang out. Okay. I was gonna say chat out and hang, I was like, anyways, hang out and chat. But that's pretty much the end of that. That is Outlast Whistleblower, case closed. So you know what's gonna happen for the next couple of days. Again, thanks for being here, appreciate you, and be well, stay healthy, stay happy, and until I see you in the next case, take care.